it's not like we don't know that these things might come, right? If you know that a neighborhood district or a neighboring school has been going through stuff, the question would be more, why aren't you preparing yourself? Having time for educators to particularly practice or role play scenarios that they're most stressed by and that they hope would never happen or have happened and they felt they didn't do well. And obviously in a safe and supportive environment where you're not worried that people are going to just attack you for not getting it right. Yeah, you're practicing, what if this happens here? You know, what am I prepared to say? What am I prepared to do? How do I connect it to the pedagogy? So, you know, if I'm teaching history, how is this connected? How do I make this not just a moment for now? What do we know about fear in our society around difference that is not new, and how people are tending to react to that? You could argue that every educator should be thinking, not am I just problem solving here in my classroom if an event occurs, but how do I tie this? Because my role is to educate. And one argument is the more people learn about why stereotypes, why threats happened, they can actually think very differently about it. Teachers, like students, need affinity groups where you're with other people who think and feel like you, who will appreciate you, right? Where you can cry, you can struggle. But I think affinity groups are best if they're helping you take care of your health. It may seem selfish to a lot of educators, but it's essential to, again, to find, do I have a supportive community? And then can I take the time to process what's going on with me in the moment before I start making decisions, saving the world, you know, stopping crises. But it'd be the same thing like when you're on an airplane and you have to put the mask on yourself before you put it on your child, the oxygen mask. That's the same process. But it's hard to get educators to see when they're so used to being survival mode or crisis management that putting on that oxygen mask for yourself will eventually help you make better decisions. I worry over the years witnessing people using their power out of fear to cut down or stop the conversations or stop, instead of embracing that anger as a healthy response. And I think I'd just like to say more or have it out there that with teachers who say to me, the scariest thing that happens is if someone comes in and calls me a racist, right? And I ask them, what do you do? And they say, well, I shut the conversation down. I pick them and say, look, when you're ready to talk seriously about this, then we'll have a conversation. And I say, that's a wonderful moment, right? So not everybody, likes being cursed out. But you got to understand that if you get cursed out, they're at least thinking about you, right? They're at least, it's hard to be in a relationship with someone where you wonder, what do they really feel about me? If you thought of cursing out as someone's outcry because they've been struggling to get voice out, and they finally found you as the person to do it, and you see that as a gift as opposed as a devastation of your life, how could you manage that moment to listen? You'll still be able to say what you want to say. You'll still be able to get out your expertise. You'll still be able to say what you don't appreciate, but you don't have to use your power in the beginning of that to shut it down, right? You can give an invitation for somebody that your anger is okay. And I think that's the part I see more in our world, that the power of educators and faculty to shut down before they listen. All students deserve educators who can see them fully and listen to them fully. It's not a crime to be able to say, I'm overwhelmed, or I can't do this right now. And if somebody knows that, then they can make choices. So if students know that, if parents know that, then they say, look, I have a sense of the school I'm in, I have a sense of the class that my child is in. So a lot of the comments we get from students about educators, and educators themselves, is I get so helpless, I don't know what to do. And in a sense, just stay silent. And students remember those silence moments. Even more, it's sort of like I remember more when I look to an adult to protect me as more problematic than the actual threat that was coming after me. Because sometimes I kind of expect some of these threats. What I don't expect is those whose role it is to protect me standing down.